Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker at online booksellers today. A former MMA fighter allegedly stabbed his ex-girlfriend 17 times before stuffing her body in a closet after an argument outside of her parents' home. Now, in this incident, which took place in Tennessee, 28-year-old Dwayne Harrell Jr. allegedly stabbed his ex-girlfriend, 24-year-old Irene Torres, outside of her home and took her body and stuffed it in his trunk and then hid it inside of a storage bin inside of his closet. Now, the police are alleging that this is an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged behavior of Dwayne Harrell Jr., it fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Dwayne Harrell Jr. was one of these beta males who had a hard time accepting the end of his relationship with Irene Torres. Now, one of the big problems with beta males in relationships is that they are terrible enders and they never know how to accept the breakup of a relationship. And the reason why they have a hard time accepting the end of a relationship is because many beta males want to live in a smooth world, and in that world they want no problems, no conflicts, and no obstacles, and they want relationships to continue even though they are basically dysfunctional. So a beta male would rather stay in a dysfunctional relationship rather than move on, because the beta male does not want to move away from the safe space that they have created in their rose-colored reality, because most beta males do not live in our real world where people can accept that a relationship is over. No, most beta males live in a rose-colored reality that looks like our world and feels like our world, but everything is completely distorted. And in that rose-colored reality, these men want relationships to continue going on even though they are over. And a lot of times these men want things to go on because they are uncomfortable about change. And things definitely had to change between Dwayne Harrell Jr. and Irene Torres, because Irene Torres was being abused in domestic violence by Dwayne Harrell Jr. in this relationship, and this relationship was one that was a toxic one for her. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with beta males, they never think or consider their partners. The relationship is all about them, and the relationship is all about them because a beta male cannot see another person inside of the relationship as a person. No, they see the person as an object in their life that they have possession of. And it looks like to me that Dwayne Harrell Jr. basically was abusing Irene Torres because he was possibly frustrated about the sad state of affairs as related to his MMA career, because it looks like he was a former MMA champion, and he went from being an MMA champion to being a guy who was struggling, and as he was struggling, he was becoming more and more frustrated about feeling powerless in his life. And because he was feeling powerless about his life, the only way he felt like he could take power is going out here and looking to abuse his girlfriend. And eventually his girlfriend got tired of being the punching bag for Dwayne Harrell Jr. and decided to leave him. And that's when Dwayne Harrell Jr. went from being a beta male who was simmering and boiling in anger to be exploding in rage. And as he exploded in rage, he looked to go out here and destroy the life of Irene Torres, because he believed that Irene Torres destroyed his smooth world by revealing to the world that he was a woman-beating domestic abuser. And with the truth being revealed as related to Dwayne Harrell Jr. being a domestic abuser, I believe this is what was the motive for him murdering his girlfriend allegedly and going to her home to take her life. I believe what motivated him to do this was the fact that he was angry that she was leaving him, and she was leaving his world and leaving him to confront the realities that his life was not in the ideal place it was in. And because she was leaving his world, he wanted to destroy her life so that no one would know the chaos that his life had become. And that's what I believe happened on the evening of the early morning of January 29th. At night, your Dwayne Harrell Jr. saw Irene Torres coming home from her job, and he sat there waiting, I believe, for Irene Torres. And as he waited, he snuck up from behind and ambushed her, stabbing her allegedly 17 times before dragging her body off, putting it in the trunk of his car, then putting her body inside of a storage bin inside of his apartment. And these behaviors are right in line with the behavior of many beta male killers I have detailed in many of my videos and many of the stories I read as I was doing my research for the Man Crisis. Now, these beta males, when they go out here and take the life of this individual, it's because they are angry at this person and they want them to pay. And then after they destroy this person's life, they want to keep their world smooth. So what they do is look to go out here and hide the evidence, and they look to hide the evidence to keep people from seeing the heinous act that they participated in, because they want to keep their world smooth where they have no problems and they won't be seen as a suspect in that murder. However, as the investigation went on, the father went to inquire about your Dwayne Harrell Jr., and there was also evidence that soon was found on the video outside of the family home, which saw Dwayne Harrell Jr. basically dragging Irene Torres's body off from in front of the house. So there was a lot of evidence here in the case of Dwayne Harrell Jr., basically allegedly implicating him with the murder of Irene Torres. And it looks like to me that this could possibly be an easy open and shut case for a prosecutor, because they have, I believe, they think they have a confession as related to the alleged murder. They have the bloody pants and a purse that belonged to Torres that they found behind a grocery store in a dumpster. They also have the footage of the daughter before she came home and was killed. And they basically have, I think, the confession of Dwayne Harrell Jr. So Dwayne Harrell Jr. went from being a failed fighter to possibly becoming an inmate inside of the Tennessee penitentiary. And he's going to be needing those fighting skills that he had in MMA to fight off Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, and Lamar inside of the penitentiary, because once those guys find out what he did, they're going to be beating the crap out of him. And after they beat the crap out of him, they're going to be trading him for Little Debbie snack cakes, Ramen noodles, Taster's Choice coffee packs, Crystal Light tea, 6-pack Oreo cookies, Fritos chips, Kit Kat candy bars, Kool-Aid, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies. Basically, this guy is going to be traded back and forth for commissary if he doesn't know how to fight. And even if he does know how to fight, they're going to beat him down so bad that he's not going to be in any condition to fight off being spit roasted by Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, and Lamar. All of them big dudes going to be working him over front and back, because this alleged woman beater basically will be being turned out inside of the penitentiary. But the reason why he's on the road to the penitentiary is basically because he's a beta male man in crisis. And this beta male man in crisis basically was somebody who didn't know how to end a relationship. And the reason why he's on his way to the penitentiary is because, like most beta males, he does not know when to end a relationship, accept that a relationship is over, and accept that the world does not revolve around him. Because the big problem with beta males in relationships is they never know when to let the relationship end. They never need to respect the other person's space. They never respect the other person, and that's why many of these men never have good relationships, because many of these men just do not even know how to even have a relationship with another person. Now, a healthy person understands when a relationship is over, yes, your world is going to change. Yes, you are going to feel pain. Yes, you are going to hurt for some time, but eventually you realize that if that person didn't want to be with you, then you can accept that that person doesn't want to be with you, and then you go on with your life. You put a period at the end of things between you and that woman. You let things go, and then you start focusing on moving your life forward after you've grieved for a minute. And this is something most men have to do many times, because you're going to get your heart broken many times, and you're going to have to accept this person doesn't want to be with you. And if they don't want to be with you, you have to accept that, and accept that maybe God doesn't want you to be with this person, and you need to go out here and work on whatever issues you have before you get into your next relationship. That's what a healthy man would do if they were in Dwayne Harrell Jr.'s spot. They would be saying, okay, maybe I got a problem with putting hands on women, and I need to go into counseling, because while I've got this freedom, I've got to appreciate the fact that I've got my freedom, and I need to use my freedom to go out here and go get the help that I need, so that I understand that it's not my right to put my hands on any woman. I need to just if the things aren't working out, I either need to take a break from this woman, or I just need to let her go. That's what a healthy man does, but beta males don't know how to do this, because they think relationships are one-way streets and everything is all about them. But the relationship isn't a one-way street. You are there with a partner, and you have to consider your partner and your partner's feelings above other things. And again, you have to understand that your partner has a right to their own body autonomy. They have a right to be treated like the way you want to be treated, because a man is supposed to treat a woman like the way Christ loves the church. But this man didn't love himself, so he was incapable of loving this woman, and he couldn't let go of this woman, because this woman knew the truth about him. She knew the truth about how out of control he was, and he didn't want anybody to know about this. But eventually people did know about this, and now that they know about this, this man has lost the intangible of his freedom, and he's gone from being an MMA fighter to being a man in crisis, fighting for his life inside of the jail and eventually in the penitentiary. Now, if you want to learn more about what motivates beta males to participate in their spectrum of violent behaviors, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me do more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at lulu.com today.